Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Commissioners Court. I've got 10:02, so I call this meeting to order. As usual, we will begin with an invocation followed by the pledges. Dear Lord, I come to you this morning and thank you once again for the start of another day and another week, another opportunity to be here and address the community's business before us. Thank you, Lord, for your many blessings upon this community. I pray for your guidance and wisdom in all of our decisions today and in the week ahead. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. The next item we have on our agenda is citizens communication for anyone wishing to address the court on any county-related business. Lenny, you have a special guest this morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have Michael Martin with the U.S. DOT. He works for the offices that is in charge of our EAS program.
Wonderful.
Martin?
Mr. Martin, welcome this morning.
Well, thank you very much, Judge Zeller. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've seen your name on so much correspondence over the years. I've been your EAS analyst that manages your air service at the DOT for at least 12 years.
Okay.
And so over the years, I've seen so much correspondence, and I always wondered, you're the only community in which the judge is the main civic official that's in charge. Each community, EAS community, is different, mayors, city managers, so it's a pleasure to put a face to a name after all these
Well,
years.
thank you. And likewise, yeah, I've been in office for right at 12 years myself.
Oh,
So,
okay.
That has been a lot of paper, a lot of correspondence, and Victoria County is unique in that we do have a county-owned, operated airport that's overseen by the county.
Yes.
A unique arrangement, but one that works real well here. So we appreciate you being here this morning.
Well, thank you very much, and it's great to be here, and it's great working with Lenny. I've known him now, I think, 9 years since when you first started in the job. And one thing about Victoria and your air service, and me having been at the DOT for so long and managing your essential air service over these years, is I've seen the history of your air service. And I think when I first got you guys as a community, I was assigned to your community. I think you had just lost, it was Continental Express, and I think it was operated by Colgan. And I took over when I think the first few years of your air service was, let's just say, a little bit rough. And I think your first carrier was an 8-9 seat passenger plane. It was no, it was Sun Air. This is even testing my memory, I have to say. But we went through that, and then you went through a series of just, unfortunately, the airline industry is not necessarily always fair. And, here was Continental Express, Colgan, they filed notice to leave, and you guys were just in an unfortunate situation in which your community did not meet the needs of the business plan of another carrier. And I felt so bad for you guys, and it was very frustrating for you to be able to attract a carrier to be able to come on board and serve you guys. Well, anyway, and I have some passenger numbers that shows the history of your air service. And the thing I want to convey, and this is what I was telling Lenny, is it's great being here, is you actually have a great story to tell to our leadership at DOT, because while there were some rough patches there several years ago with your air service and your eligibility in the program was in jeopardy, in 2020 you guys got SkyWest Airlines, and since then you've had quality, reliable air service, which and the passenger numbers show that. So the one thing about you guys I love, as I always go to leadership and say, Victoria, Texas is a success story, because several years ago in leadership discussions, they were talking about eliminating your eligibility therefore meaning that you would no longer be in the Essential Air Service program. And I remember saying, I said, I feel so bad for them because it's not the community's fault if they have a community that has a lousy carrier that's not providing quality, reliable air service. The community doesn't have any control over that. They can't go out and fly those planes. What they need is a good air carrier. And eventually, with Lenny, you guys were able to get SkyWest, regional jets, branded as United, and of course, I also, Lenny, I have to say, you got it during COVID, and I thought, oh, this Victoria, they can't get a break. I said,
Snakes it,
here it is.
yeah.
They finally get SkyWest, a regional jet carrier, and here we've got a pandemic. But you guys made it through that, and the passenger numbers just keep going up and up. And so what I love to be able to say to leadership is say that, it validates something an argument that I've always stood by for years, is that any community that gets quality, reliable air service with the right carrier, the right aircraft, to the right hub, it is a rare, if community that will not succeed. That air service will not succeed. So, and sometimes I did have to argue a few times with other people who were like, no. They've been not eligible for, they've fallen out of the eligibility requirements for a while. It's time to kick them out and everything. And I said, you know what? I don't agree with that. And I actually will tell you this, one of the reasons why you guys still are in the Essential Air Service program was somewhat of an unfortunate event. You guys had a hurricane, I believe, a few years ago.
Yep.
Okay. And is it all right if I tell this story? I think it's a great story. And you guys you were one of 3 communities that were, shall we say, on the chopping block. And this was, of course, before SkyWest had come on board. And I think, Lenny, you had just started. And anyway, but you guys had a hurricane, and our Secretary of Transportation at the time, Elaine Chao, came to visit you guys. And I think she gave a speech at the airport. And it was in the news, it was in press. Okay, so then there were subsequent meetings of communities that were not eligible that had fallen below the eligibility requirements. And I remember I was talking to my boss at the time, and he goes, well, I saw Victoria was 3rd on the list. And I said, Kevin, I said, I don't think we can, how could we kick Victoria out of the program when Secretary Chao just gave a speech saying, we are here for you guys. We are here to support you. And he could be a little bit hard-headed. And he was like, no. It's too long. They need to be out of the program. And so I said, all right. Well, anyway, he brought it to the big boss, our leadership, and they said, absolutely, not, cross Victoria off, because they said, no, we're not. That would look terrible that the Secretary of Transportation was just down here pledging support. And then we would eliminate your eligibility in the program. So you guys got by the skin of your teeth, but I couldn't be happier. And so, as I said, I have some numbers here, nothing fancy schmancy, but if you want, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we'd
I'd
like
just
to see those numbers.
Yeah, sure, because again, as I said, I love a good story. There's nothing worse. I hate in my job, gentlemen, when I have to talk to a community and I said, it's not, you guys got to get better. You're not doing well here. I'll keep one for myself, Lenny, if you don't mind, and then I'll let you pass them out. Thank you. And that's not the case with you guys. So anyway, so it's a positive story, and that's the kind of conversation that I like to have when I brief leadership in my office. So, as I said, nothing fancy, but it goes back to 2013. If you look, and if you just look at your average enplanements per day, you look like it starts around 9. This was when you lost your Continental Express, which was, I think that was a 30 or 34 seat plane, branded as, it was operated by Colgan, but it was branded as Continental. And then, just since then, you guys struggled for a number of years. If you just go through page after page, 2015, 2016, I think your low point was in 2017. You were averaging 7.4 passengers, which was, there's a threshold in Essential Air Service. I don't want to get too wonky or into the weeds, because nothing puts people to sleep faster when I start talking about either Essential Air Service, the Essential Air Service statute. But you're supposed to maintain a minimum of 10 passengers per day. So you guys were in a danger zone with those numbers. But then I think with Boutique, there was a slight improvement in 2019. If you look, numbers went up to 17.6, but then The change really came about, I think if you look in the period of 2021, 2022, SkyWest came on board, regional jets, and we're starting to see numbers going up into the 20s, 30s, and then if you just skip ahead to the last page, 2025, I just ran your numbers just for calendar year last year, and you're up to about 44 passengers per day. It's a huge improvement than what you were before. So I think you should be proud of yourselves, and I couldn't be more happy for you. And I'd also want to say something that just from my experience in my job, take it for what it's worth, but my experience is that when you have a community, an EAS community that has a good airport manager, means they have good air service. That's from my experience. Some communities, I have 46 communities that I manage, and some have top-notch airport managers that know the business, they know the aviation industry, they know the airport industry, and their numbers reflect that. Unfortunately, I have a few communities, who I would never mention, of course, that don't exactly have, that don't have a good airport manager, and their numbers, unfortunately, that reflect that. But anyway, you've got a great airport manager, if I may say so, and I think your numbers show that. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to be cognizant here, but I have a couple of other things I could say, or I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, no questions, but we certainly do appreciate you advocating for our airport,
Absolutely.
Michael. And yeah, the success that you pointed out here, you can clearly see that in the numbers. We're excited about it, and I would echo your sentiments about Lenny, an excellent airport director. And
Yes.
he's led the way to these successes, and Commissioners Court's been very supportive of and happy about that. Obviously, we talk about, with our air service, benefit to the community, convenience, ease of travel, but also from Commissioners Court's standpoint, it's also a big economic driver.
Yes.
And that's one of our priorities and focuses, and has been, and for a community to economically to see success in building the local economy, bringing in jobs and businesses. An airport like ours is a pivotal component of that, and we've been very excited that the county's been able to provide that to the community and to the region. So thank you, and Lenny, thank you for your leadership in this as well. We're excited about what's happened here, and also about the many things in the works that are still yet to come. Hopefully one of which is going to be a new airport terminal in the.
I've heard.
So yes, well again, thank you, Michael. We
This is-
appreciate you.
You're-
Thank you for the numbers. I really, because
You're very welcome, and if I may just say, just a couple of things, regarding your essential air services, I just wanted just a couple of things that I'd like to just be able to just, so the program is funded through fiscal year, the end of the fiscal year, so that's 2026. There's been a few government shutdowns and it's uncertainty. So the program is funded through 2026. A lot of questions that I always get from people is they go, when is the program going away? It's not going away. Oh, excuse me. It's Congress's program. I know a lot of people, I just want to step back. People get a little bit confused. They hear the president's budget over the year. They say, so this year the president said that he was going to slash the funding of the program by half. And I just wanted to just say something. That's not unusual for a president to either weigh in, not support the program, support the program. If I were to take you a little bit, Ronald Reagan never supported the program. George H.W. Bush didn't fund the program. Clinton did. George W. Bush did, because after 9/11, airports and airlines were catastrophically affected. The Obama administration supported the program. Biden supported the program, but it's not unusual. I guess what the point I'm trying to say is, don't place too much emphasis on whether you hear a president saying whether they support the program. It is Congress's program. We, in essence, work for Congress. It is their program. We administer the program for Congress. So it is up to them whether the program exists or doesn't exist. So I think one thing I would say is, if your air service is important to you and to your community, don't forget to communicate that to your congressional representatives in Washington. And the other thing I was just going to say was, you have your contract, your next EAS contract expires February 28th of next year. And so it won't be too long before I'm going through another carrier selection case with Lenny right here. Probably we'll starting that in the summertime. And one other thing, if I may just say, and I say this to Lenny as well, if I may, don't, while you may have you have a great carrier right now, SkyWest, branded as United, and that's wonderful, but my advice to communities is always keep up your contacts with other carriers, wink, wink, American Airlines perhaps. It's always good to always put in a phone call to another carrier, just say, I'm Judge Zeller or Lenny Lorena, and I'm from Victoria, Texas. I'd love to tell you about my community and the value our community could bring to your airline. Always do that. Always keep selling yourself to another carrier just because it's always good to keep the incumbent on their toes. Congress intended for the Essential Air Service Program to be a competitive bid process, so we don't want that incumbent getting too comfortable thinking that they're always going to be selected. And I will leave. Did I speak too long? I have a tendency to do that.
I was happy for us to go over our 5-minute threshold.
I'm so
Michael,
sorry for
because
that,
That is valuable information. And I guess a question I often get
Please.
is new routes. Who makes that decision and how is that made? I know the answer, but that's something that the community asks about. Additional flights.
Okay.
Can you walk us through the mechanics of that briefly?
Well, sure. So the EAS statute guarantees that your community gets 2 round trips a day, 6 days a week to a large or medium hub. And so when you say 2 routes, you would be able to, the department would subsidize service to 2 hubs as long as it's not more than 12 round trips a week. So let's say, you've got United now.
Yeah.
Let's just say, they wanted to go to Denver and Houston. You could have 1 flight going to Houston, you could have 1 flight going to Denver. That's just an example. Now, if there's a carrier that is interested in serving your community, or not even a carrier, if SkyWest would like to add an additional route on top of the 12 round trips that are subsidized by the federal government, they can do that, but it has to be it would be at their cost, unsubsidized.
It'd be on their nickel.
Right.
Right, but one thing I always wanted to say, and I'm sure I'll probably go over your 15-minute limit, and if I keep talking, but I just want to say one thing here is you just want to be careful. You don't want to ever get into the situation where you have air service that meets your minimum EAS. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, okay, the statute says that you guys, the federal government will pay for 12 round trips a week. 2 round trips a day. So you don't, if right now you've got 2 going to Houston. If I use the example, let's say SkyWest says, hey, we could do 2 flights a day to Denver. And now that means you guys have 4 round trips. So you get, that's a dream, isn't it? The federal government, however, will say, my office would say, well, wait a minute, at the end of that contract, hold on, they're already getting their minimum EAS, 2 round trips a day, 6 days a week, large medium hub to Denver, unsubsidized. Why do we pay for this? So just keep that. Is that clear?
Makes sense. So at
Okay.
the end of the day, new routes are a decision of the carrier that would
Yes.
have to make business sense on their end, being that it's unfunded by.
Right.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, that is helpful for folks to know, because I know we get that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, we
The
get it all the
Houston
time.
route is the most valuable, but there's always talk about other possibilities.
One I always get
There's
is
the answer.
I always get DFW. Everybody wants to fly to, flights to DFW, what have you. I'm just glad this is good
Yeah,
stuff.
the numbers are great, and again, we appreciate you being our advocate over the years, Michael.
Which I
and,
am. I wanted to say that. I am an advocate to leadership, to you guys. That is part of my roles that it's kind of a dual role. I am an advocate for the communities, but of course I'm also supposed to be working in the interest of the Department of Transportation as well. So I have to wear 2 hats.
Fortunately, our interests are aligned, so it's a
Yes.
win-win. And we appreciate it. I hate to cut off good information. We do appreciate you again, though, Michael.
You're most
And
welcome.
Lenny, thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for hosting me, Judge Zeller, and it's so nice to meet the rest of the commissioners as well.
Thank you.
Anything you ever need from me or the Department of Transportation, you feel free to. Lenny is always with me, but you can always reach me as well. Because, and I'm just going to leave you with this, as your EIS analyst, it is my job to serve your community.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Let's see, I see Representative Louderback with us this morning. Representative, we're always delighted to have you here and appreciate you taking the time to be here. I know this is not something that's always happened, but you show up here. Is there anything you want to say or share with the?
Honor, Judge, Commissioners, really good to hear so much information being on our flight systems. That was very good information to have here. But just a pleasure to be here, and let's continue on. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. We appreciate you as well. Let's see. We're still in citizens communication. One update that I have, I mentioned last week that we would make an announcement this morning. Our Elections Commission has identified a sole finalist for the Victoria County Elections Administrator role. Karen Klein is joining us this morning. I told Karen that we would not have her make a speech this morning because her beginning the filling the EA role will be mid-April. We're looking at probably April 17th. But to make that as seamless a transition as possible, Karen is on the ground here in Victoria, over at the Elections Administrator's office, just meeting the folks there to hit the ground running when she does formally take on this EA role. Like I say, mid-April, we're looking at the 17th. So we're excited about that, Karen, and especially excited about you being here early to hit the ground running. So there will be more to come with that. But again, Karen's our finalist, and we're looking at an April 17th official start date in the EA role. So thank you, Karen.
Welcome to Victoria, Karen.
Yes. Welcome.
I have on my notes here, let's see, you probably, Commissioner, know about this. The Nursery Volunteer Fire Department is having,
They're having their annual fundraiser. Let me pull up the particulars here.
I had written down Sunday. I think that is correct.
Oh,
Yes,
somebody
it'll
else
be,
was, too.
Let me see here. Yeah, it's gonna be Sunday, March 29th,
Okay.
at the Nursery Volunteer Firehouse over at 370 Nursery Road, from 11 to 1. Gonna have fried catfish, hush puppies, coleslaw, all the good stuff you need for a Sunday. And also, too, they're gonna have silent and live auctions, so there's gonna be something there for everybody, so please come on
Awesome.
out.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's always a good time, and our volunteer departments certainly are appreciative and need the community support. So I'd encourage everybody to get out Sunday for that. Other comments and citizens' communication this morning?
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe, come on up. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I just wanted to mention that today is Puppy National Day. It is celebrated every March 23rd annually, and it is to promote or honor puppies, and then to promote adoptions, and then to also bring in mind that the treatment of animals, humane animals, treat dogs humanely.
Okay, National Puppy Day.
Yep.
And if anybody wanted to stop at our facility to adopt, foster, or do a doggy day out, the community is more than welcome to stop by our facility.
Awesome.
Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I saw Friday, y'all had a fair amount of puppies that y'all have, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are.
Now, and there are pictures online now.
Yes,
Okay.
there is.
So would someone go to the Facebook page or if they
Yes,
want
our Facebook page.
Okay.
That helps.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for that,
Thank you.
Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
National Puppy Day. There you go.
Thanks for your work, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Other comments in citizens' communication before we move on this morning? If there is nothing else, we'll move right along in the agenda to item number 4, and that is to consider approval of minutes and take appropriate action. Each of you have a copy of those minutes in your agenda packets.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 5 is to consider approval of accounts payable and take appropriate action.
Accounts payable for March 23rd, 2026 are $527,665.30. Supplemental payments are $631,336.73.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 5, receive monthly and quarterly reports from various county officials and departments and take appropriate action.
Item number 6.
It's 6.
6.
Oh, what did I say?
5.
Okay,
But today
6.
Today, we have monthly reports from the county judge, county commissioners, precincts numbers 1 through 4, county treasurer, and justice of the peace precinct number 2.
Move to receive.
Second.
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 7, consider approval of bond forfeiture releases and take appropriate action.
We have none this morning.
Very good. Thank you, Heidi. Item 8 is to consider approval of Citizens Medical Center interim vendor payments. We have the March 19th memo from our hospital showing those interim vendor payments totaling $538,807.79. And the ACH report on that same date totaled $3,676,452.02.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 9 is to hear a proclamation in recognition of Living History Weekend and take appropriate action. We were unsure if we'd have any of the reenactors from the Presidio down in Goliad.
Judge, they have signaled that they are tied up, and we won't have to be concerned about getting anyone with muskets through the security checkpoint this
Okay,
morning.
okay.
You know, I was wondering about that.
Well, if it's before a certain date, it's not technically a firearm, right, Sheriff? So there's work around.
So it's like, try to explain that to the guy that got shot. You really didn't get shot.
The sheriff says no, we're good. Okay.
However, they are very appreciative of the proclamation and all efforts to promote the 40th anniversary reenactment this weekend.
Yeah, well, and we're excited about that too. Like the proclamation last week and others that we've seen, there is a ton of local history, Texas history right here in the Crossroads and in Victoria County that we are always eager to showcase and to commemorate. And this proclamation is one of those efforts. So I will want to read this proclamation, Living History Weekend, and it reads as follows. Whereas Victoria and Goliad counties share deep connections that span generations, and whereas 190 years ago, brave Texians and Tejanos stood and fought side by side against Mexican General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna and his tyrannical government that had cast aside the Mexican Constitution of 1824 and was trampling the rights of free men. And whereas in early 1836, Mexican troops advanced into Texas in 2 main invasion columns, one under the command of General Jose de Urrea, and the other under the dictator Santa Anna himself. While Santa Anna marched northeast from the Rio Grande and besieged the Alamo, General Urrea's forces swept up the coastline, defeating small bands of Texans at battles near San Patricio and Refugio, as Urrea pressed on toward Presidio, La Bahia, and then Victoria. And whereas as news of the fall of the Alamo on March 6th spread across Texas, Colonel James Walker Fannin was ordered to abandon the Presidio and move his troops and artillery to Victoria under a plan to eventually join up with General Sam Houston's army. And whereas Colonel Fannin's delays in withdrawing from Goliad and the swift advance of General Urrea's army led to Fannin's men being caught in the open about 17 miles from Victoria near Coleto Creek, where a fierce two-day battle began on March 19th, with Fannin's troops eventually being forced to surrender and return to Goliad as prisoners with many wounded. And whereas on Palm Sunday, March 27th, as Fannon's men were marched from Presidio, La Bahia toward Victoria, and in other directions under the pretense that they were being paroled and would be sent to the U.S., the columns of unarmed prisoners soon halted as their Mexican captors formed firing squads, and over 300 Texans were killed in the Goliad massacre. And whereas Francita Alaves, who was accompanying a Mexican officer in Urrea's army and witnessed the terrible treatment of the Texans, interceded on multiple occasions on their behalf with her brave actions at Goliad in Victoria, leading to numerous lives being spared and improved treatment for prisoners. And because of that, she is remembered as the Angel of Goliad. And whereas the 40th annual Goliad Massacre and Living History program will take place at Presidio La Bahia Historic Site this weekend, March 28th and 29th, commemorating the 190th anniversary of the Goliad Massacre with a battle reenactment and living history demonstrations. And whereas the shared heritage of Victoria and Goliad counties has significance for Texas history and culture stretching well beyond their shared county boundaries and geography. Now therefore be it resolved that the Victoria County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim March 28th and 29th as Living History Weekend in Victoria County, and we urge all our residents to join in recognizing that history is all around us and the historical events and personalities that make the Crossroads of Texas so unique. So that was our history lesson for the day and for the week. Lots of fascinating details in that.
Will there be a test later?
Maybe.
Okay,
Maybe.
okay.
Although, do we have a motion to approve that proclamation?
So move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. All right, our next agenda item this morning is number 10, and that is pursuant to VTCA Transportation Code 251152, hold a public hearing on proposed changes to traffic regulations in Precinct 3 and take appropriate action. What have we got here?
Judge, most of those changes, or the majority of them, are affecting the subdivision of Quail Creek and their stop sign changes. Most of them are additions of stop signs, converting some two-way stops into three-way stops in an effort to try to cut down on people speeding through the subdivision.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Well, the public hearing required for that purpose is now open. There was an ad run in the local newspaper indicating where all those changes would be taking place. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this issue during this hearing? Seeing none, the hearing is now closed. So what's the official action here? Is that to adopt these changes?
To adopt the changes, correct?
Okay.
That's what you would do
Okay.
if nobody
Yeah.
contests it.
Yeah, okay. So I would entertain a motion to adopt the proposed changes that were detailed in the public notice that went out in the newspaper.
Move to adopt changes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I'd also just like to mention that the changes that were actually submitted for this public hearing and adopted were approved and communicated through the Quail Creek Homeowners Association as well.
Good. So do you have an idea when this is going to be implemented, when the public can expect it?
Well, we had to get through this
No,
process.
that's what I'm saying, through this, so.
Yeah, it'll be
It'll be
shortly after
shortly?
this process.
Sure.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner.
Good job.
All right. Let's see. Did we vote on that?
Yeah, we just
Okay.
need the ayes.
So we're good. All right.
I think we need the ayes, Judge.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. All right, now to item number 11, and that is to consider and authorize setting the date of April 27th, 2026, for a public meeting of the Victoria County Commissioners Court to take up for consideration approval of tax abatement agreements deemed to be in due form from FA Victoria 1 LLC, that's First Ammonia's Project Phase 1, and provide notice as required under Section 312.207 of the Tax Code and Section 312.2041 of the Tax Code, and take appropriate action. We, of course, had received an abatement application for this project with First Ammonia, which we were excited about. We worked through a lot of the mechanics and details of that and came to a form and an agreement that was advantageous to the community and to First Ammonia. And as required under the law, we will and will today post the meeting notice for that specific meeting on April 27th, where we intend to formally adopt that abatement agreement. Let's see, Sharon, anything you want to share related to this item? I know you've been, you and Jonas have been talking to First Ammonia for quite a while, as we all have, and it looks like this is now coming to fruition.
Yes, I just want to thank you so much, all of you, each one of you, for putting this on the agenda, and I look forward to bringing that to you on the 27th. So, one question, Judge, just housekeeping. Will the court and the staff put the ad in the paper for that declaration?
Let's see,
would you
Madison,
like
what's the
BBC?
game plan on that? We will? Okay. So the ad in the paper, Madison, you'll spearhead that. And then as far as the copies going out to all the entities, are you sending that, Sharon, or we?
We're happy to help and coordinate with Madison.
Okay,
I think it'd be a good idea.
all right.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Sharon.
it. All right, any further discussion on this item?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item number 11. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. All right, item number 12 is to consider approval of TIPS quote number Q-115981-1 for Civic Plus with the following services and take appropriate action. A, municipal website platform. B, ADA website accessibility compliance. C, PDF accessibility tool. D, Next Request Public Information Act management software. E, social media archiving. And F, website, chatbot, and agent. Matt, what have we got here?
So I believe sometime last year, the Department of Justice came out with a new rule that requires all local government websites to be ADA compliant and meet a certain standard for ADA compliance. And that it's a huge standard, all having to do with colors and fonts and how links work and all that kind of, how documents are presented on the website and all of that. And so since we're over 50,000 people, we have an April 24th deadline of this year to make our website compliant.
Okay.
We have worked with our current website vendor, TAC, to see how they were going to handle this, and it's taken a long time to get an answer from them, and their answer was they're giving us a tool to tell us what's wrong, but we manually have to go and fix it ourselves. So that's a lot of work on our end, and then we have to constantly keep up with that. As changes and things get added to the website, we would have to constantly go back and rescan it and fix it. So we've started looking at options. Madison and Lauren and I sat in a lot of meetings, talked to a lot of vendors about all the different options we had out there. And so we've settled on Civic Plus as being the best option. So they're going to do an entire website redesign for us. We'll get a brand new, fresh, modern website. It will be completely ADA compliant, and they have tools that will keep the website in compliance for us. And it has like you can see on a lot of websites now, there's a little thing in the bottom corner that you can click on that lets you change the font and colors and things like that. And that tool will also help do on-the-fly remediations of if we post something to the website that's not in compliance, it will do some work in the background to help make it compliant for somebody to view it. And so there's several pieces to this proposal, and so one of them, the most complicated, being the website itself. The second part of it is PDF accessibility. So any document or PDF you have on your website has to be in an accessible format. And then, so you have manual options where you have to go and take every PDF, run it through a tool, make changes to it to make it accessible. Civic Plus has a tool that basically will automatically do that to all of our documents, and their tool actually also ties into Civic Clerk, which we currently use for Commissioners Court streaming and PDFs to make, and it will make the Commissioners Court PDF packets, which can be hundreds to thousands of pages every week, and it will make those compliant as well with the same piece of software that will be used on our website. So that takes a lot of work off of us and the staff that they would have to do every week to run all those PDFs through a tool and fix all the problems with them. You know, you get PDFs from dozens of places and try to put them together. It's a huge mess. Tying in with that, Lauren was interested in looking at different software for our public information requests.
Right.
Civic Plus has a product that I believe she'd used at the city or at another place called Next Request. It's equivalent to what we're paying for our current software. And then they also have a social media archiving piece that's tied in with Next Request that's a similar cost to what we're paying for our current social media archiving. However, ours is a separate piece that's not tied together. And so she was interested in looking at that. And then bundling all of this together, all through Civic Plus, we were able to leverage existing additional discounts on the package as a whole.
Okay.
So the quote has a lot of details on pieces, and they've given us a lot of like first year 50% plus off of some of the stuff, but there are costs for the redesign of the website. So on the second page of the memo, there's a chart of basically we're going to need a net of $47,000 in this year's budget to do this process, and then going forward, it'll be approximately a $41,000 increase per year in the budget over what we have currently budgeted for our website and all of these solutions together.
Thank you very much for that detailed explanation, Matt. I know that you and those that you mentioned put a lot of time into this. I would note that the net increase mentioned, well, I don't know if it's really a net increase because what we have now is not what we can keep going into the future.
Correct.
So,
That's just the net over
what we currently do
currently budgeted.
cannot continue. So though it's a $41,000 increase from what we're doing now, what we would be doing otherwise would definitely go up as well. This represents the best set of options available and really accomplishes several things that we've been wanting to do anyway.
Seems like a good fit.
So again, thank you for that, Matt. I do think this is the best path forward that will kill numerous birds in a single shot.
And thanks to Lauren and Madison for all their help in this and sitting in lots of meetings.
Yes, they have. Madison, Lauren, thank y'all.
Move for approval.
So the offset is what else, the 19,250 is additionally, that's what's needed for 2026?
So in 2026, so the 19,250 is what we have budgeted for our current public information request software. It doesn't renew until, I believe, August sometime, so we will not renew that. So
Okay.
the amount that we had budgeted can
Right.
be applied to this first year.
Okay, and the same for, then where you're talking about recurring costs, it's the,
Right, the 28.7 is what we have budgeted for all of these tools currently
gotcha.
in our ongoing
Right.
budget.
Good deal, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll also note that the PAC website, we currently pay very little for it, and it's going up by about $10,000 next year for just what we currently
Yeah,
have now,
'cause
and
it's
that's
pro-
not reflected in
It
here.
would probably make sense since you got this, basically another unfunded mandate, that costs are going to go up just to stay in compliance, so.
Yes.
Second.
Now, we did have a first and now a second. Any
Somewhere.
further discussion or
The
questions?
man in
for
blue.
No, it's good questions. It's all right.
Matt? Good questions indeed. All right, all those in favor of approval, A through F?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thanks again, Matt.
Good job to everyone.
Thank you.
Madison, Lauren,
Let's
Matt,
see,
thank y'all.
The next one's mine too.
It is 13, consider approval of a proposal from DataVox for Avaya phone
Avaya.
system
Avaya.
Avaya phone system updates and maintenance. What have we got here?
So our phone system that basically all the county departments use, our vendor that we had been using for ongoing maintenance decided not to renew the maintenance anymore. I think they're kind of getting out of the phone systems. They're going more towards cloud phone systems. So I've been looking for another company to get maintenance with. Some of our hardware in there is aging, and so as part of this deal, we are going to update some of the control units, some of the hardware, and then get under current maintenance with Avaya. Money for this is budgeted in non-departmental telephone, and so the total of this proposal is approximately what we paid previously for the yearly maintenance we were on there. So
Okay.
we'll have a little savings ongoing after this year.
So it's pretty much a wash. it sounds
Pretty
like.
much, yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Item 14 is to consider approval of an agreement with San Patricio County for jail housing services within the Victoria County Sheriff's Office and take appropriate action. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Morning, Sheriff.
Right.
Order, sir.
Sam Pat needed some space in their jail, so we're housing a small amount for them right now. That's what this agreement's going to be for.
Thank you, sir. Move for approval.
Simple enough.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you,
Thank
Sheriff.
y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Item 15 is to consider approval and authorize the county auditor to issue payments for owner's representative services to Square One Consultants in connection with the Victoria County Mental and Behavioral Health Facility construction project and take appropriate action. I thought we already did that.
We can move to approve. Didn't we? Avery,
Sounds familiar.
Avery, this is,
Avery can,
Tell us all
Judge
about
and
it.
Commissioners, I believe in the past, we had put this on the agenda for Spa Glass, and this is just naming an additional vendor, our owner's representative, Square One.
oh, Square
Okay.
One. I got you. Move
Yes,
to
sir.
approve.
So those are two
Second.
separate.
simple enough. Thank you,
Thanks
Avery.
for
We
clearing
have
for that up,
a-
Avery. Appreciate it.
We have
Yes,
a
sir.
motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 16. Consider approval of a request for payment from GrantWorks in the amount of $246,128.10 in connection with the Texas Community Development Block Grant, GLO Award Grant Number 24-065-186-F328, and take appropriate action.
Good morning.
Morning, Robin.
This is the administrative piece, the startup of all of the projects and the things that we've done administratively on the back end. They're beginning to work on environmental and get that situated to move forward. So just all of the loads of paperwork that are required for this. So I am going to let Avery give you a little bit of more of a field update. I know you guys have been out with him, so he's gonna just kind of sum that up. But we're rocking and rolling. Is it?
Can I move to approve? Already?
So, good morning again, Judge and Commissioners. Just giving you all a brief construction update, as Robin mentioned. So just to reiterate, we had previously met with each of you individually with your road manager to discuss prioritization of projects from the original slate of projects that were included with the project application through the GLO. At that point, we established two sets of priorities, must include, must budget, and then construction timeline. The updates to construction cost estimates mean that we may have to cut some projects with materials price increases. So your feedback was extremely instrumental in us structuring this design and future bid process to make this project happen in the most timely manner possible. So following that meeting with each of you all, this past week, I had the opportunity of riding around with Lynn Engineering, Mr. John Mercer, to each of the project areas in all 4 precincts to review site conditions. There were several vicinity maps that ended projects short, and feedback from each of your road managers has been extremely valuable in coming up with some additional feedback that we plan to share with you in the next series of meetings where we will basically look at each of these individual projects for potential scope modifications, or some projects that may require additional items that would push us into an acquisition phase, and we may decide to not move forward with portions of certain projects. So that feedback will be communicated to you from our site visits. I'd like to mention that we have entered the design phase, and field surveying crews have been mobilized. They started with Raven Road in Precinct 1 last week on Wednesday, and they will continue to survey projects that didn't have any kind of feedback from John or myself.
Okay.
And so we are started with that. I believe that that's a pretty good update for
Yeah.
current and then future. Do y'all have any questions on the construction or design timeline?
I know it's been a while, but thanks for staying on it. Much appreciated.
Very good. I will be getting with each of you to schedule another meeting next
Okay.
week to kind of take a culmination. We'll all sit down and hash all that out, like what looks feasible, where your prioritization needs to be, et cetera.
Okay.
So we'll have Mr. Mercer here as well. And so that is those are our next steps.
Okay.
Very good.
Avery, does everyone up here know how y'all are structuring this as far as where the work's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen, how it's gonna bid out?
I believe so.
You've
So the
explained it
intent
to
for this
everyone.
project is to bundle as many of the projects as
Right.
possible into an overarching project. Right now, what we're considering is having a separate contract bid for drainage projects that are solely drainage projects, and then another for those that are incorporating road work. And the idea behind all of that is that we enter into a single design phase so that all projects can be bid out at once, and we have equitable cost sharing between projects in various precincts. This way, we kind of get around a previous model where we designed and then bid out by precinct. And so the precinct that was bid out last could be 18 months removed from the original bid date, which, due to changes in market conditions, could mean that that precinct gets less for their dollar. And so this is the way for us to most quickly and cost-effectively bid out all the projects.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Avery, Robin, John, I know y'all put a lot of work into this, and I just want to know how much I appreciate what you do. Y'all did a lot. Going out there and meeting with our managers, hands-on, kind of seeing what we really need, it does help. And, because that helps you put the picture to the dollars.
Yes, sir. And just to echo that, I'd like to give a major shout out and appreciation to all the road managers. Without their feedback and historical knowledge, I think we would be significantly handicapped in this design effort. So I really want to appreciate their time for coordinating with us on this.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
It takes a team to get these things done. Yeah.
Item number 17 is to consider approval of estimate 2251 from Victoria Steel Erectors for the Victoria County Road and Bridge Precinct 2 Pole Barn Construction Project and take appropriate action.
Here we go, talking about pole barns.
Yes, Judge, this is, we received several bids for building a pole barn for our Precinct 2 facility. We needed something to cover a lot of the equipment that we have. We want to get it out of the elements and what have you, and also to be able to protect it in case of inclement weather. So we did settle on this bid and look forward to getting it done. Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions on that item?
Judge, I have a question. What funds are we going to use to pay for this?
We're going to use general fund on that.
Okay.
Just in keeping with how we treated precinct 4 and then 1 previously.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Precinct
Thanks,
4,
Michelle.
nobody built me a pole barn.
Well,
My turn.
that's where you have your stuff. Actually, yeah, you got a whole new facility.
I think I got a whole new facility, but that's before my time.
All right, very good. Moving on.
Well, did we vote on it or no?
Did I
I seconded.
Okay.
We all
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 18 Consider approval of the following resolutions for road donations and take appropriate action. A, Resolution 2026-042 for road donation valued at $753.80 from, how do you pronounce that?
Take a shot at it, Judge.
Encarnacion?
Yeah, Encarnacion.
Mr. Lara.
Mr. Lott, for the installation of a
That guy.
pipe culvert at 715 Quail Creek Drive in Precinct 3. And B is Resolution 2026-043, valued at $192 from Melvin Chalupka for the installation of a pipe culvert at 754 Morristown Road, also in Precinct 3.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. So there'll be 3 signatures in total. That's from earlier. Item number 19 is to receive for the record the following letters of permission to enter private property for the purpose of improving drainage in Precinct 3 and take appropriate action. A is Arlen Waitchees at 3210 Colettoville Road, and B is Christina Flores and Joe Monjarez at 7758 Colettoville Road.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 20 is to receive for the record the following fully executed health plan agreements and related documents. A, claims runout agreement with Boone Chapman. B, administrative service agreement with TAC Health and Employees Benefits Pool. C, stop loss agreement with TAC Health and Employees Benefit Pool. D, group policy amendment number 7 and certificate for group life insurance with the Standard Insurance Company. B, medical benefit highlights, Victoria County Blue Choice Network PPO. F, prescription drug plan with TAC. G, Victoria County Section 125 plan document with American Fidelity. And H, the master employer services agreement with American Fidelity. I don't see Gianni in here. However, this is simply receiving these items that we have previously executed.
Move to receive.
Second.
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 21 is to consider approval of personnel changes and take appropriate action. It looks like there is one in the packet this morning.
Move to approve.
Second.
And that's on Porter. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 22, receive for the record discretionary budget amendments, if any, and take appropriate action. I don't see any. Do we have none? Apparently so. So we will skip that. 23 is to consider approval of 2026 budget amendments and take appropriate action. I believe
There's
the one we have a corrected version. Where is that? There it is. Okay. Okay, so the correct version is a total amount of these budget amendments, $154,069. The one previously was incorrect.
Okay.
move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Need several signatures on this. finally. Our next agenda item is a closed meeting, and that is for personnel in various departments, discuss boards and commissions, discuss real property, economic development, and to conduct a private consultation with the county's attorney via phone by attorney-client privileged matters. When we come out of closed session, I don't anticipate any action being taken, but at this point, we will go into closed session at 11:02 for the purposes that I just mentioned. Appreciate everybody being here this morning. We'll see you next week.
Out of closed session at 11:48, back into open session. No action was taken, and that will adjourn the meeting.